It's dark in here. Let's go outside and take some photos. Yeah, that's more like it. Just as your Sony DSC HX400V was impatient to get out of the darkness inside of the camera box, you might be impatient to get outside and start shooting some nature photos. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Impatience can work in your favor if you use the automatic settings on the camera. In this video, I'm going to use these settings to do just that, to get outside and show you what can be done with this camera on the automatic settings. You don't really have to know too much about photography, but this camera will teach you photography as you learn the different settings on the camera. You can use the automatic settings to various degrees, and we'll get into that later. But we'll get into three basic ways of shooting automatic photos. One is with intelligent auto, which is the green on the dial here, on the mode dial. One is with superior auto, which is the orange on the mode dial. And then there are some artsy things you can do by using art filters. That's not very difficult to do, but you have to find where those settings are and change them a little bit. We'll do that too. The third thing is to switch the mode dial to the scene setting, where you can choose what sort of scene you have in front of you, and you can shoot that photo. So that's a basic wrap-up of what I intend to do in this video. I'll show some samples along the way of each of these things so that you can see the results you can get using automatic settings for beginners or just lazy photographers like myself. When you take your Sony DSC HX400V out of the box, this is what you'll see. This is the mode dial. It comes set on automatic. It's called intelligent automatic. There's also superior automatic, which is this orange. That's basically for low light. Maybe we should be using it now because this looks pretty dark. Anyway, you can start out shooting right out of the box on either of these two settings. Let's try the intelligent auto first of all. The Sony DSC HX400V has something called picture effect on it. You can take artsy looking photos with this setting, and if that's what you're into, that's fine. I don't find it very useful for nature photography, but there are some things you can do with it to make certain colors stand out. I'll show you how to get into this setting, and then I'll give some samples of what I did with one particular picture effect. The others I don't use too much. Here's how to access the art filters and some other settings that you can change to make your photos look both artsy and different. First of all, you have auto brightness. You can go into that. You can go into, let's go back to auto brightness so you can see that. You have auto brightness. You can change the color, how that looks, and you can change the vividness. When you go over to this last setting, it's called picture effect. It's now off, but you can go into different picture effects. I don't find these too useful in nature photography, but in the photos I'm showing you, I used a few of them, like this partial color yellow, partial color blue, partial color green, partial color red. These show you only the red in the photo and make the rest of the photo monochrome or black and white. It can make for a nice effect, but you do have to have some idea of what you're doing, and you have to have some idea of composition and a creative bent to you to use these. You can experiment with these. The other picture effects I don't find very useful. Soft high key, retro, posterization black and white, posterization color, pop color. Maybe you can try that, but that's a little too much for me. Toy camera, that's a little bit interesting where it darkens the edges of the photos. Or you can turn it off and just go back and use intelligent auto. If you switch the mode dial on the top of the camera from the green intelligent auto to scene, now you have choices of what you can do with this camera. You have scene selection. If you go into that, you'll see you can choose among a setting to shoot a pet, anti-motion blur, a night portrait, a handheld twilight photo, a night scene, or landscape. The landscape is definitely useful for nature photography because, as it says, it shoots the entire range of scenery in sharp focus with vivid colors. That's very useful for landscape photography. Sports, shooting, you may do that, but it's really not nature photography. A portrait, you can take a nice portrait of somebody outside in nature by using this setting. High sensitivity, that's more for indoor stuff. Soft skin, that's more for portraits. And fireworks, that's kind of natural because it's outside, but fireworks are anything but natural. And then there's the snow scene. This is useful too because you can use that to shoot snow scenes, as the camera says. There's a beach option. You can shoot the beach, get some nice photos with that. Or you can shoot food, as I did in one of the photos coming up. Then we're back to the pet, and that's all the options you have that you can choose while in scene from the mode dial. It says SCN on the mode dial for scene. So that's what you have to choose. Have fun with that one. If you're a beginning photographer or just a lazy photographer like me, I hope this video has demonstrated to you just what the Sony DSC HX400V can do with nature photography on automatic settings. The limits are only your own creativity and ability. The camera can handle just about any situation automatically. I know a lot of professionals don't want to admit that, but it's true. The limits are your own. For right now, it's time to
Hey, wait a minute. It's dark in this box. I thought you liked me. Take me out and take more photos, please.